Jurors in Minneapolis have heard another day of dramatic testimony in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who's on trial for killing George Floyd last May by kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Chauvin, who is white, is charged with second- and third-degree murder as well as manslaughter for killing George Floyd, a 46-year-old black father. Floyd's death sparked international protests calling for racial justice. Floyd's arrest and death on May 25th last year occurred after the Cup Foods convenience store called the police, accusing Floyd of using a counterfeit $20 bill. To this day, it's not known if Floyd even knew he'd used a counterfeit money. Moments after police arrived at the scene, Officer Thomas Lane pointed a gun at Floyd and then pulled him out of a parked car, cursing at him. On Wednesday, a teenage clerk at the store named Christopher Martin told jurors during questioning he felt guilty for reporting the fake $20 bill to his manager, who called the police on Floyd.
What was going through your mind during that time period?
Disbelief and guilt.
Okay. Why guilt?
If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided.
One of the most moving moments of the trial came Wednesday, when Charles McMillian, who also witnessed George Floyd's death, rewatched a police body cam clip of George Floyd begging for his life after he was handcuffed by police. A warning to our audience: this clip contains graphic video of police violence.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Thank you. I can't breathe. Stop moving. Mama. Mama.
Yeah,
Mama. Mama.
One of the front pouches.
Mama.
On my right side bag.
Mama. Mama.
You're the best guy.
All right. Oh my God.
It's going to go to jail.
I can't believe. I can't believe. I can't believe. I can't believe, man.
Can we stop it right here, please?
Mama, look.
Mr. McMillian, do you need a minute?
Oh my God.
Just take your time. So when you're ready.
We'll just give you a moment, Mr. McMillian. I'm not sure if there's water as well. Oh. If you need a break to get some water, let me know, and we can take a break.
After the break, the 61-year-old African-American bystander, Charles McMillian, returned to be questioned about what he saw when police killed George Floyd.
What stood out to you about what Mr. Floyd was saying when you saw him on the ground?
When he kept saying, I can't breathe, and when he said, Mama, you're killing me.
During the trial Wednesday, jurors also heard a recording of Charles McMillian approaching Officer Derek Chauvin moments after George Floyd's limp body was put in an ambulance. McMillian told Chauvin, quote, "I don't respect what you did."
Can you advise the fire department if they're still with you, they need to go to 36 Park to assist with the patient.
But I feel respect you is.
That's one person's opinion.
But no, I gotta get him.
We gotta control this guy because he's a sizable guy.
Yeah, and I gotta get in the car.
Looks like he's probably on something.
On Wednesday, jurors were also shown police body cam footage of the bystanders who attempted to save George Floyd's life as Officer Chauvin kneeled on his neck.
Okay, you indulge these officers. He's not responsive right now. He's not responsive right now, bro.
Does he have a pulse?
No, bro, look at him. He's not responsive right now, bro.
Check for a pulse.
Bro, are you serious? He gonna just let him sit there with that on his neck,
Let me see a
bro?
pulse.
Is he breathing right now? Check his
How long
pulse.
will we have this conversation?
Check his pulse.
Okay.
Check his pulse, Tal. Tal, check his pulse. Tal, check his pulse, bro. Bro, check his pulse, bro. You bogus, bro.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, bro. What is that? What do you think that is? You call what he doing okay?
Get back on
You
the
call what he doing okay? You call what you doing? You call what he doing okay?
Are you really a firefighter?
Yes, I am from Minneapolis.
Okay,
Bro,
then get on the sidewalk.
You think that's okay? Check his pulse.
Check his right
Charles,
fucking
check his
out.
pulse.
Get back on the sidewalk.
The man ain't moved yet, bro. The man ain't moved yet, bro.
Okay, where?
Minneapolis.
Okay,
Bro, you're a bum, bro.
One of the eyewitnesses to George Floyd's murder, the mixed martial artist Donald Williams, told prosecutor Matthew Frank he called 911 after seeing Chauvin put Floyd in what Williams had earlier called a blood choke.
At some point, did you make a 911 call?
That is correct. I did call the police on the police.
All right. And why did you do that?
Because I believe I witnessed a murder.
And so you felt a need to call the police?
And I felt the need to call the police on the police.
Another one of the eyewitnesses was an off-duty firefighter and EMT named Genevieve Hansen, who was out for a walk. On Tuesday, she told prosecutor Matthew Frank she wanted to check George Floyd's pulse and give him chest compressions, but she was prevented from doing so by the police.
I was really concerned about, I thought his face looked puffy and swollen, which would happen if you are putting a grown man's weight on someone's neck. I noticed some fluid coming from what looked like George Floyd's body, and in a lot of cases we see a patient release their bladder when they die. I can't tell you exactly where the fluid was coming from, but that's where my mind went. He wasn't moving.
What's the point of doing chest compressions?
Pumping the blood for somebody that's not doing that themselves, trying to get a pulse back.
And were you able to do that, any of those steps?
No, sir.
Why weren't you able to do any of that?
Because the officers didn't let me in to the scene. I also offered, in my memory, I offered to walk them through it, or told them, if he doesn't have a pulse, you need to start compressions, and that wasn't done either.
Are these things that you wanted to do?
It's what I would have done for anybody.
When you couldn't do that, how did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
Ms. Hansen, as I told you, we can take our time, so feel free to just take a minute. And if you need a drink of water, go ahead.
Okay.
How were you doing that, trying to get the officers to focus on you and get help?
I think, in my memory, I tried different tactics of calm and reasoning. I tried to be assertive. I pled and was desperate.
That's Genevieve Hansen, a Minneapolis firefighter and EMT. Jurors on Tuesday also heard from Darnella Frazier. She was just 17 years old when she used her cell phone to film the killing of George Floyd. Her image was not broadcast on the court television feed because she was a minor at the time of Floyd's death.
I heard George Floyd saying, "I can't breathe, please get off of me. I can't breathe." He cried for his mom. He was in pain. It seemed like he knew. It seemed like he knew it was over for him. He was terrified. He was suffering. This was a cry for help.
Now, Mr. Nelson asked you a few questions about your video going viral and how that's changed your life. Remember that at the end?
Yes.
Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen how your viewing, experiencing what happened to George Floyd has affected your life?
when I look at George Floyd, I look at my dad, I look at my brothers, I look at my cousins, my uncles, because they are all black. I have a black father, I have a black brother, I have black friends. And I look at that and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life. But it's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done. He should have.
That's the answer. Thank you.
Now 18 years old, Darnella Frazier, who filmed the police killing of George Floyd. When we come back, we're going to speak to Mel Reeves of the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder, the oldest black-owned newspaper in Minnesota, plus Rashad Robinson of Color of Change. Stay with us.